Hi, thank you for joining me. Today we're going to be going over some words, starting with the letter B, in ASL. And the first one, some of these will be kind of like, duh, and then some of these we have gone over before, but I just thought it would be a good refresher. But the first one is baby, which, like you would think, like you holding your arms. And then the next one is back, like your back, so you just pat your back. And in backache, you would kind of like, you try to reach to your back, but you do the pain sign, but around your back for backache, because it's in pain. And background, it would be your two thumbs, or the number 10 as you do it, and take one hand and put it to the back, because like the background. And backpack, you'd have your hands like this, and like you're pulling, putting on a backpack type of thing. And then bacon is the wiggle backwards, bacon. And then bad, like you're telling someone they're bad. And then a badge or a button is, you know, like your pointer fingers and like this, because like what you wear. And then baggage or luggage, like you're carrying the handles, or luggage and stuff. And for bake, you have your your left hand flat and your right hand on the bottom, like you're putting something in the oven to bake. And to balance is like you would think, I guess, it's like this. You're trying to balance something. And to say someone's bald or bareheaded or, you know, a bare scalp, you take your middle finger up top and then do a circle. For bald or bareheaded, your scalp, stuff like that. And then ball, like you would think, is like this. And then a balloon would be like you're blowing up a balloon, because it's small and then it's out. You're blowing up a balloon. And then banana, which I believe we've gone over before. You take your pointer finger and then it's like you're peeling a banana. And then talking about a band or musician, stuff like that, it would be music, and then group. You get the letter G, and then group. And then bandage, we talked about yesterday. It's the letter H, and then right across the hand, bandage. And a banquet is just eat, 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 because that's what you do at a banquet. The sign for that is just eat, eat, eat. And then bear, like without, there's nothing there type of thing. You'll take your left hand like this, and then your middle finger again, kind of like what you would do for bald, but this is the same thing, but on your hand. It's bare, because like when something's bald, it's bare also. So it's the same sign, but on your hand. And to bark, like a dog barking, it's just the tips of your finger opening. A dog, like, because alligators are real big. The sign for that is real big. But for a bark, it's just small, like that. And for base, or like the bottom of something, you take your left hand, and it's on top, and the letter B with your right hand, and circle it. It's the base, because the B, standing for base, and you circle. And then baseball, like you would think, you're hitting the ball with the baseball bat. And bashful or shy is like this, because when you get bashful or shy, you sometimes get flushed. So it's the sign like this. And then basketball is the shape of the ball, but do an up and down motion, because like you would bounce a basketball. And then bath, you do kind of like an A sign, but you take your knuckles and just like you're scrubbing, bath. And then bathroom is bath, and then the letter R, and then room, or like a box for a room. Then bathtub is bath, and then like you take the letter H, but they're one's on top of the other. Then battle, you have your hand, just move your hands back and forth, like the battle belongs to the Lord. And then beads or a necklace, it's just showing like around the neck is where a necklace would be. And for a bean, like beans that you eat, you would just finger spell B-E-A-N. For some reason, they've changed. I think long ago they had a sign for that, but then they've changed it to finger spelling. So you just finger spell B-E-A-N. And then bear, like a grizzly bear, is like the claws, and then if they were to scratch you. And then beard, like a man would have, a facial hair beard, is just all around. And to beat, like to stir something, like when you're baking, you take your left hand up, and then like you're stirring, you're beating. Now a beat, as in something vibrating, you move your hands back and forth like this real fast. Because the beat is causing a vibration. And then, of course, I've mentioned before, a beat as in abuse is, hitting something or someone. Then beautiful is around and out, saying you're beautiful. And because, cross your pointer finger, across the forehead, because. And to beckon, say come here, like this, like even in the English, you're like come here. But it's also like this too, like when you call on the Lord, or He calls you, it's also like that, because it's still beckoning, calling, stuff like that. And to become or turn into, you start with your hands together like this, and you turn and become. It's like you turn it to become. Turn and become. Like we become new. Then, of course, there's bed, where you sleep. And then bed with the R, room. And for B, you have to finger spell B-E-E. And to say like you've been there, like a lot of people like to say been there, done that. Well, in ASL, it's either saying or you point to your face and out, been there. So mostly same is used, though, I've seen. It's like, I understand, been there, I've done that. And to say before, like past, you just wave behind you, past. But to say before as in prior, it's before, like the right hand is behind the left hand and you go towards yourself, before, prior. And to beg or implore or to plead, you're grabbing. You take a hold of your right wrist and you're grabbing, you're begging, pleading. And to be behind, the backslide, you also take your two thumbs, your hands here, but one goes behind the other as well, back side, or behind. Then believe is point to the mind and clasp together. Believe. And then bell, like the bell ringing, you have your left hand up and the fingers down like this, and like it's hitting, bells are ringing. And you don't have to even spell out bells or nothing. Just to say bells are ringing, you just do this sign. And to belong or connect, you clasp your fingers together. And to belong, like you connect with them, you belong to the Lord, stuff like that. And also, to belong, as in truly yours, it's truly in yours. Like, you tell your spouse, I'm truly yours. Stuff like that. Then below is below in a circle. And belts, like your seat belt, would be pretty much the same sign as a buckle, because you're bringing it together and snapping it together. And to bend, like you're bending an object, or maybe even yourself when you bend, you have your left hand up, and you grab your fingers and bring them down to bend. And benefit, as in like you profit, stuff like that, your two pointer finger and thumb up at your shoulder, and you shake, benefit. And beside is the same sign like near. You know, someone's beside, they're near. And best is like this. It's the best food ever. Or even better, like this one's better than that one. So whether you're saying best or better, it's the same sign. And to betray, to con, stuff like that, you have to finger spell betray. It's B-E-T-R-A-Y. Unfortunately, they don't have a specific sign for that, at least not yet. Then bicycle is like this, which we may have gone over before. And to bind, like you're binding something, it's take your hands together like this and then bring them together. You're binding. Then binoculars are like you would think. You bring them up to your eyes, but you turn binoculars. Then bird, which I think we've done before. It's kind of like a tweet tweet. In birth, like a baby born, is arrival. Same sign for arrival. In birthday, so you say happy birthday. It's your middle finger to the chin and then to your chest. Happy birthday, Jesus. And then bite, as you bite into something. Your fingers in a C shape, and then like it's attacking your hand. No, whether it's biting into food or biting, someone's attacking, kind of biting, it's the same sign as biting. And to say blab or chatting, going on about something, it's just blah, 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 just like we do in English. It's just on. And then blank or absent-minded, which I think I've done before, but it's your middle finger across the forehead, your blank, absent-minded. And then blanket, you pull up, like you would pull a blanket up to cover yourself. And bless, out. You make a fist and then out. And blind, like a blind person, is your two fingers and then down. And you close your eyes as you do it because they're blind. And a blizzard, like snowstorm and stuff, is like windy. You make like a windy, crazy move type of thing. And then a block or a cube is the square shape. And to say someone is blonde or a light color, or any kind of blonde really, but it's the Y up to the head, and then you hold a piece of your hair. If you're talking about blonde hair. Now, if you're talking about like a blonde, some other color, it would just be, I think, the Y. Then blood, like the blood of the lamb. And like flowers to bloom or blossom is open. They open like this. And then a blouse or shirt is the top and bottom. And then to blow like your nose is like you would think, like when you hold your nose to blow your nose. Then blue is the letter B, and then you shake. And like I mentioned earlier, to blush or flush in the cheeks is the upward motion. And hold on 1 minute, I dropped my paper. All right. In Board of Directors is the letter D, and then one shoulder to the other. Actually, I'm sorry, I got that wrong. It's B and D, Board of Directors. Actually, the first one was Deacon. It's Board, and then the D, Directors. Then Boat, it's like you cuff your hand, or not cuff, you bring them together and sway like you would in the ocean. Then Body, of course, is your body. Then Bones, you take your 2 fingers and then like this. Almost like the bear one, but it's not all your fingers, it's just the 2. And then like this. Like a skeletal, yeah, if you want to think. Skeletal bone. See, in Book, you have your hands together, and then you open Book, which I believe we went over before. Then Boot, which is also for shoes, it's just bring them together. And this one, everybody will probably like. To say something is boring, or you're bored, or it's dull, you take your pointer finger, you stick it by your nose, and you turn. You're boring, or this is bored, dull, stuff like that. And to borrow, to ask to borrow something, is the letter K, and your hands crossed over and back to you. Borrow. And to say you want both, or 2 pair, or stuff like that, it's the number 2. And then down. Start with it open and down. Both. Or a pair. Either way. And for a bottle or glass, you have your left hand flat. And then take your right hand in a C shape. And then up. So it doesn't matter if you're talking about a bottle or a glass. It's the same sign. And for boundary, or drawing the line, stuff like that, you take your pinky and you do like this. Or you could just take one pinky and do like that. Even on this beside you, in front of you. Either way, or bring them both together. Then bowling, like when you go bowling, the game and stuff, it would be like what you probably think, like you're holding a ball and you're throwing the bowling ball. Then boy, you have your hands like this, kind of like a talking motion, but up at the top by your forehead. Boy. Oh, gosh, I keep dropping my paper. Let's see here. Then bracelet, you take your left arm and your pointer finger and your thumb and turn it around your wrist, because that's how a bracelet is. In a braid, like a lady would braid her hair, you take your fingers in an X shape, and then over on the side, and you twist it, like you twist to braid your hair. And then all the way down, however. And to brake, like to stop a car brake, it would be like what you think, like to push back and to stop. And to be brave, bold, courageous, or strong even, is out. Now, when healing kind of looks the same, in the song talking about healing, you would actually touch your shoulders and out, like you're pulling it, my healing. So, but just saying courageous, it's just, you don't really touch your shoulders. It's just courageous. In bread, you take your left hand and hold it to the side, and like you're slicing bread, which we might have went over before, but it's a good reminder. And then to break or tear apart is like what you would think. You just break it open. Then breakfast is eat and morning. And breathe is out and in, just like your chest would do when you breathe, inhale and exhale. In a breeze, you would just wave your hands back and forth like a breeze. And then bride, someone, getting married, is you have to finger spell it. It's B-R-I-D-E. And then a bridge, you take the two pointer fingers of your left hand, and then it's at the wrist, and then your elbow. A bridge. As if it was supporting your arm. And to be broad-minded, up at your forehead, it's like you're closed in and then open. You're broad-minded, or tolerant, even for that word. And then a broom, like to clean with, is like what you would think, to sweep. Then brother is like the L shape, up at your head and then down. Brother. Or even boy, and like that too. And then brother-in-law is brother-in-law. Then brown is the letter B in the side of your face, or next to your nose, the side, and then the other side. And brush, like to brush your hair, it's just down, like you would think for a brush. And then budget, like to pay, is back and forth, paying. And a bug, like an insect, your fingers like this and going across. And to build is these two fingers and then up, because you're stacking one on top of the other. And then bumper to bumper, like you're in a car in traffic. Your left hand flat and your right hand also. And the right hand, just like it would be in traffic, your bumper to bumper. And burden, like you have a lot going on, stress, the burden is weighing on your shoulder. And then burn or fire. I have one more, it just fell. And then to bury is also grave, bury or grave. Then bus is a long object, a bus. Now there's busy, the letter B, busy, and then there's busy much, as in a lot to do. Then there's a but, and then butter, like the butter you put on toast, stuff like that. You take your left hand here, and then your two pointer fingers, and then like you're putting it on butter. And to buy, also purchase. Budget, buy are both the same in a way. And that's all I have today. Thank you.